Hi, everybody, and welcome to Pixelated Geek presents TriPod. My name is James Honeycutt, and I'm here with Jonathan Crass and Taylor Tate. Today, which is the 7th of April, 2015, we're broadcasting live on Hangouts on Air, Twitch TV, as well as our YouTube channel, youtube.com/pixelatedgeek. If you'd like to respond to anything, go ahead and do that through the social media things, social at Pixelated Geek, any of our Facebook pages, anything like that, as well as in the chat of today. And so, so today is the 7th of April. A couple of pretty interesting things happened today. We're just going to go over some news items first, and we're going to sort of get into the conversation later. But so Black Ops 3 was leaked today, and it was leaked through a pretty interesting augmented reality, like, viral campaign thing. Essentially, there's an update to Black Ops 2. It's the first one in over a year. And it had, in the advertisements, it had little Snapchat icons that you could scan into Snapchat, and then that would take you to a channel in Snapchat where you could hear like a little sort of creepy like audio tone, and then a voice saying something to the effect of "listen to the sound of my voice." And the reason that people think it's Black Ops 3 is because most of Black Ops 2's frame story was done via Ed Harris interrogating you in a like filtery kind of creepy voiceover. So that was really the first big piece of news today. And the other one is that, and this is where we're going to sort of open it up. Deus Ex: Mankind Divided was announced today. It was leaked first. It was leaked by a Russian site. It was picked up by NeoGAF, and then it was confirmed after the leak by Game Informer via a trailer. And so, obviously, this is a really big deal. That game won the Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences Award the year it came out, as well as a number of Game of the Year awards. So I'm going to start this off with Taylor, because I know that we've discussed this game repeatedly in the past. What are you looking forward to in Mankind Divided?
Well, I would love to see what they do with the augmentations and kind of see where the setting of the game has progressed to the point from the last game where we saw the primary character having some augmentations available to him. Nothing really crazy, though I will admit like the anti-personnel, cloud of death augmentation was a little bit out there. So to see kind of where we go with that, yeah. The storytelling elements were excellent. I'm excited to see where they go in terms of character development, really kind of letting you push the story in one direction or the other, the kinds of choices they give you. I trust them with it. You know, it's an IP that does well, and that the games they cranked out actually seem like they took a lot of time with them. So I appreciate the effort they put into those games.
It's definitely been about 2 years since the last one. I want to say 2 years. Exactly. It may have been 2012, actually, so it may have been 3. Regardless, 3.5 year development cycle, somewhere in there. That's what I want. That's the kind of game that I think needs a lot of depth in terms of its development cycle. JJ, what are you looking forward to about Mankind Divided? That's an awkward name.
Complete version of it, so I don't have to rebuy a different version later, which would be nice. I mean, I do love the games, but that was a little annoying for me. But for me, I love the setting, the world. But I think I've learned from the whole like boss battle mechanics and things like that.
Right.
So it's just more of not really expecting anything and just more show me what you have.
Right. Okay. Good call.
But I'm excited. That's not like I'm not excited, but
Okay. Yeah. Now, I mean, I'm really glad that you brought up the boss battles thing, because I think that was like. It wasn't a game that was 80% excellent, but it was 80% of an excellent game. It was definitely one of those titles where there were obvious weaknesses, there were obvious issues in terms of quality, and I think a lot of that came from the fact that you were looking at the first sequel to a major franchise developed in a very, very, very long time by different people. And I'm not sure that they had the same kind of support that they had initially when these games were being developed. And I'm really glad, like really excited to see what they do as a follow-up to a title that was as well received as it was. And I just hope to God it isn't as awful as that iOS, Android touch Deus Ex that happened a while ago.
I remember when you were like, I'm going to buy this, and I just really wanted to yell at you.
Yeah, I did, and I bought it, and I installed it. I actually bought it when it came to Steam. Yeah, and I installed it, and it stayed installed for 7 minutes and like maybe 30 seconds, and I've never touched it since. Cause that was garbage. So speaking of exciting news, JJ, you just recently got in a beta for
Alpha.
an alpha. Yes, that is correct. An open, no, it's not open. It's a closed alpha for Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I know that you can't talk about it too much, but A, is it good?
And you froze, yeah.
B, is it awesome?
I couldn't hear A or B, actually. You froze right there.
A was, is it good? Okay. Is it awesome?
I need a B. That'll give you yeah, actually.
Okay.
I was big in Rainbow Six. I played a little bit on PC. Actually, I remember playing it on the N64.
Okay.
And then on PC.
That sounds awful.
It was weird. But what really got me was on the original Xbox with Rainbow Six 3, and then was it Black Arrow? Took up most of my time. I remember having extremely crazy KD on that. And then Vegas 1 and 2. That never left my Xbox for months on end on my 360. But I really like it. It's got a little bit of that, I would say, competitiveness like Counter-Strike. That's what they're looking for, I guess, to have that kind of market. But essentially, like each match, you've got hostage and attackers and defenders. Defenders are going to be setting up traps and reinforcements and areas, and then you've got the attackers who, for the first 30 seconds, will get a little RC drone that can scout out the area, and you're trying to find where the hostage is. And then you pick where you spawn and how you're going to attack. Or that's actually before that, sorry.
Right. Okay.
And I mean, a little feature I like is you can look up at like the roof and throw up a cable and climb up it or rappel back down. There's no like looking for ladders or anything like that, so you can choose to go vertical.
Okay.
And then breach through windows and things like that. So it's got some elements from Rainbow Six 3 and Vegas.
Okay. So one of the things I wanted to ask, and again, I mean, I know that there's a certain amount that you can talk about, and there's some you can't. So if you can't answer, that's fine. But so one of the things that I really liked about the original Rainbow Six games was that you had the ability to plan your assault. You could do it from the very beginning, and does this to me when I first saw the trailer, it looked like it had elements of that. How much are you actually strategizing before a match starts?
Well, everyone votes on where you're going to spawn, and that's going to be with the hostage, or where you're going to spawn as the attackers.
Okay.
So that's the first one. And then, usually with game, chatter, you're going to be like, I'm going to place this here, I'm going to place that there. Everyone gets equipment. There's kind of like classes, which I think is pretty neat. You can tweak them a little bit, but like one of them is you can put like a poison gas grenade and remote detonate it. Or C4, or you can put like a reinforced wall thing where these spikes shoot out through the wall and add a little bit more defense, so you can't just shotgun through it. What you can do, you can take a shotgun, shoot it through a wall, and then peer through that and shoot people.
I want that. I want that right now. I would like to be doing that right now. Yeah. Okay, cool. That sounds really, really, really interesting. I'm really looking forward to getting a hold on that. One of the other pieces of news that we wanted to talk about today, I really don't know how much conversation we can get into about this other than all three of us saying this is awesome, is that on April the 10th, they are re-releasing the original Star Wars trilogy in HD without any of the edits. And that's cool. I just want to know when that's coming to Blu-ray. Do you guys have anything to talk about with that other than that's fucking awesome?
Glad it's without edits. Maybe they learned that we were not such a huge fan of all the changes that they did.
I wouldn't be surprised. It is Disney's like PR apparat, and you would figure if anyone knew how to, test demographics and then actually interpret it well, it would be them. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Like as soon as Disney got it, they said they're gonna do this. It was like within the first 7 days we heard that this was happening. I'm just really glad that it's coming soon. Again, the only thing I want is not a digital form of the medium, but rather a physical Blu-ray that I can buy, because I have managed to not buy any versions of Star Wars in between the like digital re-release on VHS, like the one where they cleaned it up but didn't change anything, in between that and now. And I want to throw money at him, so make it physical. JJ, you had a really interesting question that you wanted to talk. Fuck you.
No, do you remember when I bought this and then we decided to, and I had to review it, and I remember having like a day to do that. That was the week of Star Wars. I just wanted to say, I love Star Wars to death, but there was a moment where I hated it because there was that night where we were like, let's compare scenes because that'd be really cool. Wait, one doesn't just do that, so we watched all 6 movies in one night.
Yeah, there was...
The next day, I had to see Star Wars Episode 1 in theaters in 3D, and I actually fell asleep.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
I was Star Wars out. I didn't know that was possible, but I just remember being like, I can't.
That is truly...
I still love this, but I'm going to buy the untouched one.
How many versions of that do you have?
Of Star Wars on film?
Yes.
I've got the original VHS box set. I think it was the cleaned up but no added stuff. But I also want to say, this is not the proudest Star Wars thing I own. Actually, it'd probably be the Star Wars Ewok Adventures.
No! Ewok Adventures! No, it was so bad. It was so
Caravan
bad.
of Courage and the Battle of Endor.
Oh my god, I know. See, now what I really want to do is watch the Christmas special.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I think you can find it on one of those like websites that you can't go to legally. Like, I'm pretty sure you can find like a torrent of it. But yeah, okay, so actually JJ raised this as a point earlier. You thought that it would be interesting for us to talk about genres of games that we don't play anymore. Like we used to play and we don't play anymore. And I'm gonna have you go ahead and start with that.
For me, it's the MMOs. I haven't had interest. Like, the big one for me was World of Warcraft. And I had an off-and-on relationship with that. And I haven't really gone back in a while since Taylor got me back in for like a month, I think. But, and I went from that, and then I did Star Wars The Old Republic and got the Collector's Edition and played that for maybe 3 months. It's still whenever I see the statue, I get mad.
It was a cool statue, though.
It's a cool statue. I think mine actually came a little bent, too. But, yeah, I even tried the free-to-play week, and I was like, yeah. But for me, it's just MMOs, and I think I get that fixed now with, like, Diablo 3 and Dota. I mean, they're not obviously the same thing, but I can just pretend.
There has been something, actually, that I've noticed in a couple of genres lately, the MMOification of things. Like creating a situation where you're playing a game that has some sort of persistent unlock system, has some sort of leveling system, and it's in a genre that's completely different. I mean, obviously, like, just talking about stuff that we play on a regular basis between the three of us, like War Thunder is a persistent title, has an RPG leveling system, has an unlock system, but it's not an MMO. And it's interesting to me that, and I think it started with Call of Duty 4, like when they started that massive leveling unlock system in the multiplayer in Call of Duty 4, that other franchises have picked up what works about the MMO and then slid it into their game to make them more marketable. And I think that did have the effect that you name. I think it did absolutely sort of wean me off most MMOs, not including EVE Online. Taylor, what genre do you not play anymore?
It's tough for me because the genres that I don't play are mostly genres that I never played in the first place.
Right. Okay.
Like, I imagine that people would say that RPG as a genre is different from JRPG.
Yeah.
Never played JRPGs.
There you go.
A lot of like super sim games never really was in them in the first place.
Right.
But I don't play those anymore. I would say and this is such a lame answer, but the closest thing I have to answer that would be to say sports games. And I was never huge into them in the first place. And so, losing them or not playing them anymore really didn't affect me. I'm pretty consistent, and I would say I'm done with MMORPGs, but
No, you're
I
not.
do want to be interested in Star Citizen at some point,
Yeah.
and that's going to be one. Plus, something else could really be cool in that category that could come out later on, and I'd be all for it. So, sports is the closest answer I can give to that.
Right, gotcha. Okay, no, good answer. So I think for me it's the RTS. Because I used to love, like, I think it started with Command and Conquer Red Alert. I used to play that for hours. And then all of the Star Wars RTSs, I was married to. I loved everything about them, the various and sundry Lord of the Rings RTSs. And now the only one that I ever play, ever, is Total War. And I don't play that often, and when I do, it's not, like, that game has become something that is basically, like, half Civilization, half RTS. And the RTS half isn't a prototypical RTS in the sense that you have, like, base building and resource management. You have a certain number of troops, you have to position them. It's more like a general simulator than it is an actual, like, prototypical resource gathering base building RTS. And I think the reason for that is because that franchise in particular hasn't evolved in years and years and years and years. The only thing that we've seen in evolutions are the Company of Heroes games, which are great, and the Warhammer Dawn of War games, which are basically the Company of Heroes games made by the same people, play the same way. And that's it. Like, everything else is base building. It's the same game. It's the same game over and over. It's learning how to play StarCraft a different way. It's like learning different keybinds for StarCraft. And that became much less interesting to me when StarCraft started becoming the premier MLG game, or when MLG gaming became, like, really interesting. Something about the two of those, like MLG becoming mainstream and then, like, RTSs becoming, like, the core of it, just lost all interest in base building RTSs. And I think that partially comes from being a gaming hipster. Yeah, I'll admit it. But also, like, it is more interesting to me to play these sort of hybrid genres, like Total War, where you have like strategy and RTS at the same time, or the action MMO hybrids. I think that what we've done is we've diversified the genres to the point where you can get the exact experience you want whenever you want to get it, and so it makes me shy away from the prototypical stuff. So cool. That's actually about all the time that we have for tonight. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'd really appreciate it if you guys help us out. Subscribe on youtube.com/PixelatedGeek, Twitch, Google+, Facebook. And now we're on iTunes, so that's exciting. So go to iTunes and search TriPod and look for the really...
TriPod.
Yeah, that's...
They'll probably, trademark that, so we can't.
But so, in any case, for Jonathan Krass and Taylor Tate, I am host James Honeycutt, wishing you a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks so much for showing up, and we will see you next week. Bye.